You walked into your kitchen last Tuesday, flipped the switch, and nothing happened. Another dead LED bulb. You unscrewed it, drove to the hardware store, bought a replacement from the same shelf, screwed it in, and moved on with your day. You have done this 4 times this year. Every single box you threw away said the bulb inside would last 22 years. You are not crazy, and you are not unlucky. You are buying a product that is engineered to fail. Consumer Reports put Cree LED bulbs through laboratory cycle testing, and half of them died before the test was over. In a separate 3,000-hour lifespan test, 2 of 10 Cree LED bulbs failed. One of them did not even make it to 500 hours. These were bulbs rated to last 25,000 hours. Consumer Reports called it the greatest number of LED failures they had ever recorded in their testing facility. And those failures ended up in federal court. 3 separate class action lawsuits were filed against Cree between 2017 and 2019. A plaintiff in California bought 3 bulbs at $15 to $20 each. All 3 burned out within months. A plaintiff in Oregon documented 4 100-watt equivalent Cree bulbs, all dead within 2 years. The Federal Trade Commission went after a company called Lights of America and proved in a 4-day trial that their LED bulbs lost 80% of their light output after just 1,000 hours. The box said 30,000. The court ordered $21 million in penalties, and the Federal Trade Commission mailed nearly 500,000 refund checks to consumers who were scammed. The LED bulb market generates over $11 billion a year in the United States, and 79% of that revenue comes from replacement sales. Think about that. An industry built on a product that is supposed to last 22 years makes almost 80% of its money from people buying replacements. If LED bulbs actually lasted as long as the box says, the industry as we know it would cease to exist. And the people running these companies understand that math better than anyone. But the business model is only half the story. The engineering inside your dead bulb tells you exactly why it failed. The answer is so small you can hold it between your thumb and index finger. Inside every LED bulb is a tiny circuit board called the driver. It converts the alternating current from your wall outlet into the direct current the LED chips need to produce light. On that circuit board sits a small cylinder called an electrolytic capacitor. It is about the size of a pencil eraser. It is filled with a liquid chemical that is slowly evaporating from the moment you turn the bulb on. Heat accelerates the evaporation. The inside of a cheap LED bulb becomes an oven. Engineers at Analog Devices measured component temperatures inside retail LED bulbs at 130 degrees Celsius. That is hotter than boiling water. At those temperatures, a capacitor rated for 2,000 hours will burn through its electrolyte in a few hundred hours. After a few months of normal use, the capacitor is dead. When the capacitor dies, the driver fails. When the driver fails, the bulb goes dark. The LED chips themselves are perfectly fine. They could run for another 80,000 hours. But nobody cares, because you already threw the bulb in the trash. The relationship between heat and capacitor life follows the Arrhenius equation. For every 10 degrees Celsius you drop the operating temperature, the capacitor lasts roughly twice as long. For every 10 degrees Celsius above its rating, its life gets cut in half. So the exact same capacitor can survive 700 hours in one bulb and 28,000 hours in another, depending entirely on how the manufacturer designed the thermal environment around it. And here is the number that should make you angry. A cheap capacitor rated for 2,000 hours at 85 degrees Celsius costs the manufacturer about 3 cents. 3 cents. A quality capacitor from Rubicon or Nichicon rated for 10,000 hours at 105 degrees Celsius costs 15 to 30 cents. That is a 15-cent upgrade that could multiply bulb lifespan 5 times. And the manufacturer chose not to spend it on a product you paid $3 for. A teardown published on Hackaday ripped open 3 GE bulbs at different price points, and the guts told the whole story. The GE Basic, rated for 7,500 hours, used a cheap linear driver chip with the electronics sitting right on top of the LED board. The driver and the LED chips cook each other. No surge protection, no thermal separation. It is the cheapest possible way to make a functioning LED bulb. The GE Classic, rated for 15,000 hours and sold from the same shelf in the same store, moved the driver circuit down into the screw base, physically isolating it from the LED heat. It added a metal oxide varistor for power surge protection, same logo on the box. Twice the lifespan, because one model spent an extra $1 on thermal design and the other did not. And this problem gets catastrophically worse in the fixtures where most Americans actually use their bulbs. Recessed ceiling cans, glass-covered porch lights, flush-mount bathroom fixtures, enclosed globe fixtures. These are the most common residential light installations in the country, and they all do the same thing. They trap heat inside the bulb housing with nowhere for it to go. Most cheap LED bulbs carry a tiny warning on the packaging that says not rated for enclosed fixtures. Nobody reads it. You screw the bulb into your recessed kitchen can, and the temperature inside that housing climbs past every single component rating on the circuit board. The capacitor dries out in months instead of years, and you blame the bulb brand instead of the fixture. Now, if you think engineering a product to fail on a short timeline sounds like something a corporation would do on purpose, you would be right. Because the lighting industry literally invented the concept, and there are court records to prove it. On December 23, 1924, representatives from Osram, Philips, General Electric's overseas subsidiaries, and several other major manufacturers met in Geneva and signed an agreement to create what became known as the Phoebus Cartel. IEEE Spectrum described it as the first truly global cartel in history. The agreement was straightforward. Every member would cap the lifespan of household incandescent bulbs at 1,000 hours. Before the cartel, bulbs routinely lasted 1,500 to 2,500 hours. After the agreement kicked in, internal data from Osram's archives shows average lifespan dropped from 1,800 hours in 1926 to 1,205 hours by 1934. That did not happen by accident. Researcher Markus Krajewski of the University of Basel uncovered correspondence between the cartel's factories and its testing laboratories, showing deliberate research into how to modify filaments to shorten bulb life. Factories that produced longer-lasting bulbs were fined. Bulbs averaging 1,750 to 2,000 hours triggered penalties of 20 Swiss francs per 1,000 units. Bulbs exceeding 3,000 hours cost the manufacturer 200 francs per 1,000. Anton Philips himself, the co-founder of the company whose name is still on LED boxes at Walmart, warned his cartel colleagues not to sink back into what he called the mire of long-life lamps. And while all of this was happening, one hand-blown bulb at Fire Station No. 6 in Livermore, California, was quietly proving them all wrong. The Centennial bulb was manufactured by the Shelby Electric Company, installed in 1901, and it has been burning for over 124 years, past 1 million hours of continuous operation. General Electric absorbed Shelby Electric in 1914, and then joined the Phoebus cartel a decade later. The bulb that proved a light source can last a lifetime was made by a company that was swallowed by the corporation that agreed to make sure none of them ever would again. In 1949, a United States District Court found General Electric had violated the Sherman Antitrust Act, partly through its cartel participation, ruling that the company's main consideration in setting bulb lifespans was profit. Now, is there a secret cartel controlling LED lifespans today? No documented agreement exists, but the market structure produces the same result without one. LED bulb prices have crashed from roughly $40 in 2010 to under $3 today. At those margins, quality components are the first thing that gets cut. Consumers pick the cheapest bulb. Retailers squeeze wholesale prices. Manufacturers install 3-cent capacitors inside products marketed to last 22 years. Nobody signed a contract. Nobody needed to. The economics do the work the cartel used to do, and the brands on the shelf are not what you think they are. Signify, the Dutch conglomerate formerly known as Philips Lighting, operates under more than 15 brand names, including Philips, Philips Hue, Wyss, and Cooper Lighting Solutions. They posted 6.1 billion euros in revenue in 2024. GE Lighting, the company Thomas Edison built, was sold to a smart home startup called Savant Systems in July 2020 for $250 million. Savant closed the factories in Bucyrus and Logan, Ohio, and shifted production. Consumer Affairs documents the aftermath. One buyer reported 6 GE Reveal LED bulbs in new bathroom fixtures, all dead within 6 months. Replacements lasted 90 days. Another reported a bulb that exploded, sending glass across the kitchen floor. Sylvania, once part of the German company Osram, was carved off into a subsidiary called Ledvance and sold to MLS Company Limited, a Chinese manufacturer headquartered in Zhongshan. The CRE brand, once the gold standard, was split 3 ways. Commercial lighting went to Ideal Industries. The LED chip technology went to Smart Global Holdings. In 2025, Fight Electric quietly bought the residential Cree brand, the same Fight that had been suing Cree over patents just years earlier. By early 2026, the Cree lighting commercial operation in Racine, Wisconsin, was under investigation for mass layoffs. Nearly every road leads to the same place. Roughly 80% of all LED bulbs sold worldwide are manufactured in Guangdong Province, China. The town of Guzheng alone accounts for an estimated half of global lighting production. Over 45,000 enterprises operate in the region. Semi-assembled LED bulb kits sell on wholesale platforms for as little as 18 cents per unit. Anyone with a brand name in packaging can become an LED manufacturer. The bulb in your kitchen may have been assembled in a factory you could never find, using components with no traceable specifications by a company that exists only as a logo on a box. If this is changing how you think about the lights in your house, hit subscribe. We have more investigations coming that the people selling you these products would rather you never see. So, what do you actually buy? There are 3 categories that separate real LED bulbs from the disposable ones. Category 1 is learning to read the specs. The manufacturer hopes you will skip. The marketing on an LED box is designed to sell you the bulb. The technical specs on the side of that same box are designed to satisfy regulators. Those specs will tell you everything the marketing will not. Start with CRI, Color Rendering Index. This is the single most reliable shortcut to identifying quality. Cheap bulbs score around 80. Anything above 90 means the manufacturer invested in better phosphors and better driver circuitry, because you physically cannot hit a high CRI score with bottom-tier components. It is the spec that correlates most strongly with overall build quality, even though it technically measures light color. Next, pick up the bulb. Seriously, hold it in your hand. A quality LED bulb with a proper aluminum heat sink weighs noticeably more than a plastic shell with minimal thermal management. If 2 bulbs claim the same wattage and one weighs twice as much as the other, the heavier one has more metal inside, absorbing heat and keeping the capacitor alive. If the bulb feels like an empty plastic shell, put it back on the shelf. Then check the box for the phrase enclosed fixture rated. If your home has recessed cans, glass-covered fixtures, or flush mounts, and the bulb does not carry this rating, you are installing it into an environment that will cook the electronics within a year. This is not a suggestion. It is a thermal engineering requirement. And finally, look at the warranty. A manufacturer who prints 25,000 hours on the box but only warrants the bulb for 3 years is telling you the truth in the fine print, not the headline. 3 years at 3 hours a day is about 3,300 hours. That is the number the company actually believes. If the warranty is less than 5 years, the manufacturer does not trust their own product to last. Why should you? Category 2 is buying from the specific brands that spend the extra 15 cents. The Philips Ultra Definition line carries a CRY of 96.1 and costs roughly $3.50 per bulb. Independent testing called it the best light bulb on the market, and it is not even close. The Fight Electric Enhanced series runs $3 to $4, carries a CRY above 90, and includes a 5-year warranty. The Philips Ultra Efficient line is rated at 50,000 hours, triple the standard claim. For anyone willing to pay for the best available, Sora makes LED bulbs using a proprietary gallium nitride on gallium nitride technology invented by Shuji Nakamura, who won the Nobel Prize for his work on LED lighting. These bulbs achieve a CRY of 95, with junction temperatures designed to handle 150 degrees Celsius. That is double what most competitors can tolerate. They cost $25 to $40. You will buy them once, and they will outlast the fixture they are installed in. Category 3 is the one that exposes the entire game. Buy from where the commercial customers buy. Signify, the same company that sells you $3 Philips bulbs at Walmart, builds commercial fixtures for office buildings and hospitals rated at 50,000 hours with 5 to 10-year warranties. Hubble manufactures outdoor LED pole lights rated at 100,000 hours. Eaton documents economic lifespans of up to 170,000 hours on their industrial lighting products. These are the same parent companies making the bulbs that die in your kitchen. They are perfectly capable of building products that last decades. They just choose not to do it for you. When Signify sells a fixture to a hospital system, the purchasing agent demands published test data, verified driver specifications, and contractual warranty terms before signing. When Signify sells you a 3-pack at Walmart, you look at the price tag and the picture on the box. Commercial products use switching mode power supplies instead of cheap linear drivers. They use capacitors rated for 105 degrees Celsius from Rubicon and Nichicon. They design real thermal pathways with aluminum heat sinks. And they include surge protection that the consumer version strips out to save $1. You can access these products through electrical supply houses like Rexel, Graybar, and Wesco. These are wholesale distributors, not retail stores. But many of them will sell directly to homeowners. You will pay more per fixture, and you will never replace it. The average American home has about 50 light sockets. At $2 per cheap LED, replaced every 2 to 3 years, you will spend roughly $400 over a decade on bulbs that were supposed to last the entire time. A single investment of $500 in quality LEDs that actually survive their rated lifespan gets you the same decade of light with 0 replacement trips and a fraction of the landfill waste. The cheap bulb is not actually cheap. It just spreads the real cost across a decade of repeat purchases. The LED chip inside your bulb could run for 100,000 hours. That is over 11 years of continuous non-stop light. The technology is extraordinary, but the 3-cent capacitor sitting next to that chip on the circuit board was never designed to keep up. The same industry that formed a cartel in 1924 to make light bulbs die faster now sells you 22-year bulbs built with 2-year parts. The mechanism changed. The math did not. Check the CRI, feel the weight, read the warranty. and stop paying for a promise that was never engineered to be kept. If you found this investigation valuable, please subscribe and turn on notifications. We are going deeper into the products that were designed to fail before you finished paying for them.